Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for taking your time to join our shareholder investor conference with the PHI Group today. I've noticed some of you came in quite early, and thank you for your patience. For you come in early to reserve a spot, and this time we have plenty of room for everybody, so it's good. Nobody will be excluded from the call. Like sometime in the past we didn't have enough room, and some of you couldn't get in, but now we don't have that kind of problem. I know it's been well, excuse me, quite some time. We didn't have a conference called Update You, but I think it's a very important juncture, and we have a lot of important news I want to share with our shareholders and also new investors as well. And before doing that, I want to thank you again for taking your time to join us today. And part of the presentation, as a routine caveat, is that there are forward-looking statements in this presentation that may contain different terms and words like may, plan, will, should, anticipate, etc. that talks about things in the future which are subject to a lot of risk and uncertainties that could cause future circumstances, events, and results to differ materially from those we think will happen or projected. And so we need to be mindful of that. And as I have repeated myself quite often, our stock is a micro cap, nano cap stock, very volatile, can be very risky. So, some of you say, you don't have to say that, but I have to, because, it's not appropriate, it's not suitable for everybody. And especially those of you who are older and have accumulated your cash, your wealth over the years. You don't want to put all your eggs into one basket, just in case if anything happens. You cannot afford that kind of risk and loss. So please keep that in mind. And this stock is not for the feeble-hearted. If you cannot take the risk, please don't get involved, because if you get involved in something that doesn't work out, and you come back and blame yourself and blame the company and blame people, your friends, and those people who recommend to you. I don't want that to happen to you. And you can always vote with your feet. If you don't like it, find something else, find another company to invest into, because it's only appropriate for certain people. Of course, there's a lot of potential going forward, but there's also risk and uncertainties. So I want to make sure, because I have that fiduciary responsibility with our shareholders and investor in general. Excuse me, someone is trying to text me. I have to let him know. Okay, yeah, sorry about that. There's a shareholder that's trying to enter the room. Okay, with that being said, I want to just go a quick overview of our company. Many of you are long-term shareholders, you already know, so we don't have to go over again. But some of you are new So, I will just go over quite briefly. So you have a good understanding. Our company has been around since 1982, stock symbol PSIL. Well, we have a lot of shares authorized. We have not issued any new share yet. We have a total 60 billion shares authorized and 28.7 billion shares issued and outstanding. And of the common, that's of the common stock. Of preferred stock, we have 600,000 shares issued and outstanding. Those are not convertible to common stock. They just have voting rights, but don't have conversion right. And our corporate strategy and scope of business, our strategy is to build and deploy valuable resources with distinctive competitive advantages. And we participate and compete in attractive businesses that have large growing market potential and create long-term value and provide points of exit for our investors through either capital appreciation or sell or spin off of our business units. Right now, our scope of business includes Luxembourg bank funds, called Felix Global Funds, with a number of sub-funds for investment in real estate, infrastructure, agriculture, renewable energy, healthcare, etc. One of the focus of investment for the Luxembourg funds and for our company is the Asia Diamond Exchange. We spent probably about 4 years working on that. And because of the COVID situation, there have been delays, but now I expect to get the visa to return to Vietnam in a couple of weeks after the Lunar New Year day to continue the work on the ground there. But that's something we will talk about at another time in more detail. And we have the advisory and consulting services under Felix Capital Advisors. We provide merger and acquisition and consulting services to private and public companies. We took the first Vietnamese company public at NASDAQ. Actually, we were very instrumental in that capacity. And right now, we have just signed an agreement with CT Farm in Vietnam to take that company public on NASDAQ. I also communicated with Mr. Robert McCooey, the vice chairman of NASDAQ, and we'll come back and meet with him again. We used to work very closely with him and his staff in the past, but now it's about time we can bring some of them more prominent Vietnamese companies public in the US and list on NASDAQ. Please excuse me one second, I need to take some water. And then we have merger and acquisition. We do both. We participate in M&A activities as a principal, meaning we acquire companies for ourselves, and we also provide advisory and consulting services to clients for a fee and for equity in those transactions. That's our model. And then we also invest into special situations like the 5-grain Empire Spirit transaction is a special situation. And we also engage in crypto and blockchain technologies, especially with the launching of the CO21 Carbon Corporation carbon mitigation token, headed by Mr. Joki from Indonesia. And then we also have a few more things, but it's too early, so we will share with you later on that. And we have a number of subsidiaries. The more prominent and active right now: PHI Global Funds, a Luxembourg Bank Fund. We have PHI Capital Advisors, M&A Consulting Investment Advisory Services, Asia Diamond Exchange, which is the holding company for the Asia Diamond Exchange to be established in Vietnam. We will share with you more about that in the next few weeks. There have been a lot of exciting development, and it's been getting better and better every day for us. We are so fortunate, so much blessed. We are the only company in the world that is doing this transaction, and you know, it's not by our own intelligence or because of that we are smart or anything. You know, it's a combination of grace and hard work, and also, you know, the goodwill of people all around the world that have come together to make this happen. And then we have American Pacific Resources that are engaged in mineral and natural resources. We still have the gold mine claims in Oregon, and we haven't been able to develop those yet, but we have been in talk with some potential partners in Asia, especially in the Philippines, and we will share with you in the coming days. It's still some more work that needs to be done before it makes sense to distribute the dividend shares from this subsidiary to our shareholders. And then Vinofilm International actually is the new name. It used to be called American Pacific Plastic, you know, but we just changed that name to Vinofilm International, and we expect to share with you a few very good things about it in the coming weeks. If not next week, it'll be the coming weeks. Yeah, well, hopefully we can do that next week. And then Vivite Healthcare is in the medical and healthcare industry. We're working with a joint venture in Vietnam right now, and we will announce when it's ready. And then Empire Spirits used to be called Profimax. It was a subsidiary of PHI way back in 2004, and we established the company as an import-export entity. We did some business and tried to use the company as a holding company for some potential acquisition, but you know, the target companies didn't work out, so we still have that vehicle, and it's been seasoned, and it can be turned into a public company fairly quickly once we bring the 5 grain under our belt. And then carbon CO21 Carbon Corp, but it's a carbon mitigation, carbon credit subsidiary headed by Mr. Joki. And Luxembourg Bank Funds is group of funds, you know, with a number of compartments for investment into different industries. And the area of focus for the funds, initially we were focused on the real estate aspect, because you know, we will work through the fund and also a JV in Vietnam to develop and build out the Asia Diamond Exchange. So it will be going through our PHI Global Fund real estate component. And special situation, you know, we mentioned, and merger and acquisition. We had some very significant success story in the past. Like we were instrumental in taking the first Vietnamese company to the NASDAQ stock market, we call Cavico Corporation. We spun off a subsidiary of PHI Group, was called ATC Technology, and we completed a merger with Cellular Biomedicine Group and upgraded to NASDAQ stock market under the symbol CBMG way back, and the company also went through some changes, but it was at one time very prominent, trading like $40 a share, and a lot of our shareholders at that time received dividend from this spin-off. And we also listed a company, a subsidiary of ours called Phelan Ranch on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. Unfortunately, the timing was not right. It was as we was launching it, and then the global financial crisis happened, and then we couldn't pursue with the development of the POI 91 project in Central Vietnam at that time. Now let's talk about the 5-grain treasury spirits. Some of you have already heard about this company. When we signed the letter of intent, we had a brief presentation, so some of you are familiar with it. It's a baijiu distillery with 100 years history in Jilin province, China, northern China. It has a excuse me, it has a proprietary spirit production process. It has patented technology to grow red sorghum for baijiu manufacturing. The patented grain produces superior yield and quality compared to the regular grain that are grown out there by the farmers that don't have the technology. And it's a reputable bulk alcohol supplier to some of the largest spirits companies in the world, including Keijiao Maotai, which is the largest beverage liquor company globally right now. Okay. The 5-grain treasury spirit transaction, we use Empire Spirits, a subsidiary of PHI Group, as the holding company to hold the 75% of equity interest in 5-grain treasury spirit company. And the total purchase price is $100 million to be paid in 3 tranches. The first one is in March 18, June 18, and September 18 this year. According to the agreement, the closing date is scheduled for September 18, 2022. However, we can and we plan to close it sooner, as soon as we pay off the full purchase price. We will complete a gap audit according to the requirement of the PCAOB, Public Company Accounting Oversight Board, registered to practice before the SEC. It just cannot be any auditor, but it has to be registered with PCAOB to do that function. I'm sorry, I need to get some more. And then we'll be able to consolidate the financial result of 5-grain with PHI Group's financials. And our plan is to transform the post-acquisition companies, both 5-grain and Empire Spirit, to something quite spectacular. And we list it on a major exchange, and potentially we'll be able to distribute meaningful dividend to our PHI Group shareholders. And our growth strategy for 5-grain Empire Spirit is three-pronged. we do joint venture with growers to produce 500,000 tons of sorghum per year. And we supply up to 230 million liters of bulk spirit to beverage companies, including the top brands in China. And we develop our own brand with proprietary manufacturing methods and preferred distribution channels. Some of the, let me see. Okay, yeah, we've gone through there, yes. And some of the top brand liquor companies in China include Kweichow Maotai. It's the Maotai is one of the best known Chinese liquor or baijiu brands, and the market cap is right now is about $353 billion US, and it commands a very high PE ratio and very stable, like 49, 50 times earning. Very prominent and very respectable company, and some of its bottles cost a lot of money. Like even one brand made like a 5-star brand made in 1955. It costs about $200,000 a bottle, but on average, lower like $380, $400. A lot of people consume at that price level. And then another company is Wulangji, market cap about $118 billion. PE is 36.4. Current, the 12-month trailing PE. Laozhou, another Chinese liquor brand, market cap smaller, about $49 billion, but PE ratio is also very, very high, 46.4. And now we talk about the potential for 5-grain Empire Spirit. The performance potential on the side of Empire Spirit, we will do joint venture with growers in Vietnam to produce 500,000 tons of sorghum per year. That initiative will bring in about 30 low end the first year to about $150 million a year. We have already contacted 5 prominent growers in Vietnam, like Tan Thanh Kong, like Trường Hai, like Song Hao, yeah, those, and also in Bình Phước province, there's plenty of land suitable for growing sorghum in that area, and Empire Spirit will be doing joint venture directly with those local growers to produce the sorghum, and from there, we will supply the raw material to 5-grain, and 5-grain from the raw material it will supply up to 230 million liters of bulk spirits a year. From that, it can produce on the low end like 181 million to high end up to 5-6 years can be $900 million a year. And then on the 5-grain side, the beauty is besides selling bulk spirit to other distillers, we will develop our own brand. Actually, the company has already developed its own brand. It has been tested and very, very much well liked. And we are ready to go into production once the transaction is concluded. Actually, now it's inked, so we can start working on that. We don't have to wait until it's until September. We can start working it right away, especially on the Empire Spirit side. We can start doing joint venture and grow the product right away. And then with the proprietary own plant, we can generate between $3.6 to $14 billion a year over a period of 5 to 6 years. And the potential market cap from all this activity will be about $49 to $56 billion in the first 2 to 3 years. Let me see if we can get the numbers here so we can look at it. Well, let me see. So we have 3 prongs. We grow our own sorghum, but to supply either sell to other distillers, or we can use it by 5 grain to produce, to process, ferment the sorghum and turn into to bulk product and sell and supply to other distillers. And then thirdly, we do our own private plant. Yeah, we can do first year probably about 100,000 tons. We use a very low price, like $300 a ton, but actually right now it's about 380 in that range. And it costs per ton probably about $50 to $70 maximum. Yeah, we want to provide a cushion for it, so we say $125 per ton. Even that, it will at the low end we can also generate about $30 million in revenue and can net about $17.5 million for the first year, and then the second year we'll grow to 75 million, 150 million, and we keep at that level for years. But as the demand grows further, we can always increase it. And then the processing sorghum to supply to other distillers, we can do it's like 100,000 ton. It will give about 45 million liters, and the price per ton is like $1,800 a ton. The cost per ton, say $350. Actually, the price per ton is at 300, but suppose we jump it up, bump it up a little bit, so it gives a cushion there. Even at that level, the gross revenue will be about $180 million a year, and minus the expenses, the net income will be $146 million a year. And then on the private brand, every 2.2 ton, we can get a liter of the liquor, and there are about 375 milliliters per bottle, and the price per bottle, as we know, like Multi out there, it can be $300-400 a bottle. But suppose we keep a very low price level, $60 to $80 a bottle. The cost per bottle, about $10. So if we do 50,000 tons a year, that will give us about 60 million bottles, and the gross revenue will be about $3.6 billion, and net income about $3 billion. And then, of course, if the quantity is increased over the year, then the numbers will also increase accordingly. Like we go from 50,000 to 75,000, 100,000, 150,000 a year, and then this is the net income. But when we combine the gross revenue with the net income for the 3 components, we need to keep in mind, because see, on the Empire Spirit level, because we own 100% of this company under PHI, we can account for all of the revenues and net income. However, on the activities that are provided or handled by 5 grain, we only own 70% of 5 grain, so we can only account for that portion of revenue and profits of the company. So when it all combined, the three components, the gross revenue for the first year will be roughly about $2.7 billion, and minus expenses, net income will be about 2.2. And then, but that's based on our cost structure. However, we want to mirror the proxy performance or parameters that PHI Multi is and has experienced over the years. So we take that, use their average, we get about $1.2 billion net instead of 2.2, and then and that's for the first year. But if we take the average, the first 2-year average revenue will be about 3.4, and average net income will be 2.8. And if we use the 2-year average net income according to PHI Multi, then will be about $1.6 billion. But we say, okay, that's too high. We take a 30% discount or haircut. So that will give us about $1.1 billion net income per year for the first year. But the second, on average for the first 2 years. And if we use the PE ratio that is prevalent right now for Multi, for PHI, is 50 times trail earning. For the last 12 months, then the market cap will be about $56 billion. Suppose we use the average PE ratio for the most prominent brands of Chinese public companies in the liquor industry. That is about 44 times earning. So that the market cap will be about $49 billion. Let me go back. So that's why we say, if based on those parameters, we produce the raw material, the sorghum plant, and provide the product to firstly to 5 grain, and if we can sell to other buyers as well. But why would we sell to other buyers? Because 5 grain can use it and turn it into a more valuable product that will command a higher price. And then so the market cap with that kind of revenue potential, it could be like $49 to $56 billion in the first 2 or 3 years. But remember, these assumptions are based on the current market situation right now. That may change over the years. It's not going to be the same. But so far, the trend, the secular trend, has been very, very favorable for these companies over the years. Been very stable and command very, very high multiples. Leadership management, and I want to give a quick summary of the PHI. Excuse me, we cannot. Our company is committed to creating long-term sustainable value for our shareholders. We have a very robust strategy, and we believe that we have the right components to make it happen. PHI Group invests and participate in selective industry and special situations that potentially generate very significant return for our shareholders. We provide M&A advisory services to international clients through our wholly owned subsidiary, Felix Capital Advisor. And we plan to uplist our stock onto a major exchange while we continue to further our growth expansion. Right now, I'm sorry, let me see where it is. Right now, we have these components which are very important to our success. PHI Luxembourg Bank Funds is the first ever Luxembourg Bank Fund that is organized to focus in investment opportunities in Asia, in particular in Vietnam. And then we have the Diamond Exchange, Asia Diamond Exchange. We also participate in cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, especially with our own carbon mitigation company, CO210 Carbon Corp. And we have Empire Spirit, 5-grain Treasury Spirit transaction, Vinifilms International. We'll be able to share that with you, I believe, hopefully next week or the following week. But it will be very, very exciting. And then a new subsidiary we have established is called PHI Global Energy. It will be the holding company for the Coulter Energy Group and Coulter Construction Company that we are acquiring. And we expect to be able to provide information and update you on this transaction next week. We're able to do that, and then we share with you more information. Right now, we are not going into too much detail, but these operations and transaction it should be expected to be major contributors to the company's revenue growth and profitability in the near and long term. And so before wrapping up here, I want to thank all of you for taking your time to join us today. And some questions that have come up quite often about the buyback and the dividend distribution, dilution. For the buyback program, we will not be able to do share anything at this moment. We have until the end of March to manage our buyback program. We do have some contractual covenants that we have to honor in conjunction with our buyback program. So we have to do it accordingly. But at the same time, there are priorities right now that we need to consider, especially with the acquisition opportunities we have at hand. We want to complete this transaction first, and then we can go back and buy back the shares at a later time. And the capitalization plan, some of you are concerned about the newly authorized shares, like 60 billion. Are we going to issue all those shares? No, we are not going to issue all those shares, but we want to have it as a backup plan because we will need some equity alongside with debt financing to complete some of the transaction. If we can handle all these transactions by debt at a low interest rate, of course, we want to use to do that. But at the same time, any debt financing, we also require a certain percentage of equity for lenders to be comfortable with, and we have to manage it accordingly. And some of you, sometimes, of course, I cannot blame you. So you have been with the company for too long, and sometimes it's very frustrating, very disappointing, things that do not happen according to schedule. And honestly, more than anybody else, let me stop the sharing here so I can more than anybody else, I want to see things happen quickly and to deliver the result sooner rather than later. But we cannot control everything. We have to work with other people, on the same continent here in the U.S. But we have cross-border partners in other parts of the world, like in Asia and in South America, South Africa, in Europe, and so forth. So it's quite challenging. Sometimes I'm a little bit over optimistic. When we were talking with our partners, I said, okay, we'll do it next week for sure. And then something happened, something I cannot control. So one particular incident, I said, well, I better keep my mouth shut, and I better not say too much. Just wait until things happen, and then we will announce. And I will try to do that more often going forward. So I'm not gonna say too much ahead of myself. But anything and everything we do, and some of you, you don't care about shareholders. I do care about shareholders, and I am one of the longest shareholders in this company from the beginning. And my job is not done yet until it's a success for everybody, not only myself. So you can count on me that I have total commitment and determination to complete my job, and always for the best interest of all shareholders, not just one or two. And it may be a disappointment for one, but it can be a disappointment for everyone. But it's a success. It's a success for everybody. So please understand. Sometimes some of you try to ask questions, try to get some information ahead of time. Unfortunately, I cannot reply to all those emails or text messages. So please understand and forgive me. It doesn't mean that I don't care about you. I do care about each and every one of you, but you just cannot, answer each and every one question. And sometimes, some of you get all excited. I may share something else, and you get all excited. You go online and share something else. It's not exactly what I was sharing. And sometimes I'm very frustrated about that too. So please do understand that. Let me go back to the screen here a little bit. Yeah. So I want to say thank you, all of you, for taking your time to be with us today. And we will have announcement next week, and probably another conference call next week with more details. But today I just want to give a wrap up and overview on the 5-grain and Venofilm, and Empire Split transaction. I've noticed some of you have raised your hand, unfortunately, because while the conversation was ongoing, it's hard to stop and answer to you. But if you I'm sorry, I'm not able to answer all of those you have raised your hands in this session, and we try to accommodate it next time. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time and for your patience. I believe the future is very bright and very exciting, and I'm planning to travel to Turkey, to Dubai, and also Europe prior to going back to Vietnam after the New Year's Day to get a number of things on the ground, because we would like to have the international press conference to announce the diamond exchange with our international partners as soon as the travel situation with Omicron improves and allows easier passage and stay without prolonged quarantine. Thank you so much. Stay safe and healthy, and may God bless you all of us. Thank you. Goodbye. Yeah, for those of you who have raised your hand, could you please send me an email with your question, and then if anything I can answer that is it is public information or things that have been disclosed, I'd be glad to share with you. But unfortunately, yeah, I'm sorry for not being able to respond directly during this call. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Yeah, and God bless you.